Out of the way past school. What it do, guys and girls, YouTube family? Today's video is going to be about a seaman who's explored and had been on voyages across the Bering Sea and had some horrifying encounters with creatures that to date are unidentified and hard to believe actually exist. However, this video is going to be describing some of the things that we all been wondering about. What's underneath the ocean? What creatures really lurk down there? Who has video footage of it? Who took pictures? What's beyond Antarctica? What is the government actually hiding from us? Why is NASA no longer trying to dive deep within our oceans? What did they find? Why is everyone who always finds different type of creatures or things that's happening disappear, go missing, or end up committing suicide? What is the big mystery? What's in our ocean?
The Bering Sea, one of the most remote and secluded areas on the planet, is situated in the oceanic bridge, where Asia and America are just a few miles apart. Despite being nestled between two of the least densely populated regions of both continents, in a place where temperatures plummet to unviable extremes, life there seems to be richer than anywhere else. For centuries, fishermen and large transnational conglomerates of industrial fishing have vied for exploitation rights in the Bering Sea. While the winter cold halts offshore production for long months, it's during the spring thaw that a true war for hunting, sometimes indiscriminate, of a variety of marine animals begins. Although these animals have attempted to be protected by animal rights organizations and studied and classified by American academic entities, the ferocity of the fishing industry makes such efforts truly impossible. In 2007, the French fleet Liberté, consisting of 3 icebreakers and a considerable number of fishing vessels, gained notoriety through an animal rights website's report, where they were accused of criminally hunting animals never before seen in the Northern Hemisphere seas. At that time, some believed it to be a crude photoshopping, especially amidst the emerging proliferation of social media and conspiracy theories. However, over time, it was discovered that those photographs were not the only ones taken. They were part of an extensive collection held by the retired Captain George Torrell. The man, who passed away in 2013 at the age of 91, even possessed images taken by his father on the shores of the Bethel census area when animal hunting had not reached such industrialization and proliferation. In 2011, George Torrell granted an interview to CNN's online news portal, where he discussed those strange and deformed creatures that he, along with his colleagues and family members, had the opportunity to photograph and even touch. His account, which will be detailed below, has been attempted to be discredited by experts in marine biology. However, the photographs do not appear to have any alterations or digital creations, leaving the discussion open. You know, out there on the high seas, in waters where international jurisdiction often doesn't have much say, and I say this thinking that in those parts you'll rarely ever see a vessel attempting to enforce any regulations, I think I speak for all of us, both my crewmates and our foreign competitors, that in the northern seas of the Pacific Ocean.
I did some background knowledge on that spill, that nuclear spill. The Fukushima was the only accident I can come up with back in March of 2011. I found the Fukushima nuclear disaster in 2011. That was the only disaster I can reference.
We've snagged beasts unlike anything you'd find in warmer waters. Let me show you some of the weirdest examples we've stumbled upon near the northernmost coast of Alaska. Take this picture, for instance. At first glance, you might think it's some sort of hefty lobster, but it was nearly the size of a full-grown dolphin. And if you look at its limbs, you'll notice it's got more than usual. like some kind of mutation hit them. It'll surprise you to know that these creatures, this photo only shows one of them. During that week in '92, we found about 3 of them. They just happened to come aboard the deck of our vessel, purely by chance or will, harmless as can be. They hung around for a couple of minutes and then went back into the sea. I know some of my mates wanted to catch them, but truth be told, we decided by majority vote, and maybe a bit of fear, not to try anything if those creatures weren't harming us. This other photograph we took in '94, and I feel a bit sorry for the creature, as we had to. And I say we because it's our job. Capture it with a couple of harpoons. I don't think this was one of the whales we were after. If you look closely down here, you can clearly see some very strange appendages. Maybe they could be legs, but truth be told, I'm pretty sure it was some kind of sick animal, not actually as big as it seemed. Its size must have been due to internal fluids causing its mass to increase. I say this because when we touched those strange, let's call them legs, a horrendous smell came out of them. I'd never smelled anything so putrid before, even though we knew it wasn't dead. Experience teaches us these things. Initially, we tried to put it back into the sea, but it was too complex because of how much it weighed. So, we tried the best technique we knew. We headed out to open sea and let the immense waves rock the boat, hoping the water would drag it back to where it never should have left. These 3 photos I'm about to show you, they're by far the ones that stirred up the most controversy for us. I had a heated argument with a biologist named Werner in the late '90s who tried quite aggressively to get me to supposedly confess that this was some kind of photo trickery. But buddy, I'm a man of the sea. I know what's out there. I spent more time at sea than on solid ground. If you look closely, you'll see some kind of whale, or God knows what. I'd never seen a creature so horrendously gigantic, but that wasn't even what got to me the most. Sea. The sea is something much more immense. This whale, or whatever it is, leaped a couple of times over our vessels. Days after revealing the photos, I realized there were 2 of them, with quite different shapes. Details in their mouths that also made me think of some kind of mutation, or perhaps being so far removed from the rest of marine life, they developed very peculiar forms. Now, this last photo was quite amusing once we managed to get rid of the problem. Back then, I think it was in '96 or '97, we were already used to seeing such strange animals. But this one, unlike any other, tried. I think it tried to grab onto one of the boats accompanying us. From what we could see, it was clinging with those legs, and even though we tried some maneuvers to shake it off, my good friend Steve Johnson, God rest his soul, gave it a few good shots, and eventually, after a while, it let go, and we could get back to our work. Undoubtedly, George Charles' testimony becomes invaluable for subsequent studies of marine fauna in the waters of Alaska. It is also particularly intriguing that regarding the 3rd photograph depicting a massive whale with peculiar characteristics, it aligns remarkably well with a creature from American folklore documented by the renowned Canadian writer Thomas Caldwell. In his compilation, there is mention of the Obser, an enormous creature with the ability to levitate across the seas, foretelling deadly earthquakes or storms. Anyone who caught sight of it during the day would suffer fatal consequences. It was a creature from what we might consider the underworld, an emissary of death,